Good afternoon. You're listening to the Just Jennie show, and I'm so excited to be back with you today, listeners. We have Nadia Toni Jacobs with us to tell us about the program that she's working on, where she will be doing modules and training with certificates on how to be counselors. She would love to involve the community of Elsie's River. This could spark the love of community and each other for building a better society. Nadia, thank you for joining us. You are so
You're
busy.
welcome.
You are so busy setting up these new models to train community members to become counselors. What was the driving force behind this initiative for you personally?
Okay, I've been a counselor for many years, with quite a rich history behind me. And we have in society, we have a basic need with regards to bridging the gap between SAPs, with regards to cases, bridging the gap between SAPs, organizations, and community based individuals. Often we find that we have activists in our communities, but they don't always have the power to do anything, or they don't understand, or they haven't been empowered or educated enough to assist the people in the community in case of steps perhaps not coming out too quickly and so on. So what I've done is I've taken my 30 years experience, and I'm busy creating modules of those experiences. I have got quite a skilled package, as I do skill myself on a yearly basis.
Okay,
So um, this package contains about 8 modules, okay? And the 8 modules, the very first one basically is about your love for the community, um, how to invest yourself into the community through counseling. Now, just to tell you, Jenny, that um, when you become a counselor, from a legal aspect, you then have to register with HPCSA, which is the health board. Okay. It's not back in the day 20 years ago where you could skill yourself and go out and counsel people. So now it's become a health uh, foundation. But in saying that, I've had so many people on my journey that's come to me and said, how do you become a counselor? I want to become a social worker. Where do I go? What am I going to do? Um, doesn't this affect you? So this was my answer. I've said to a lot of people that's come into contact with me and saying they want to become a social worker. I say to them something very simple: get your feet wet, you know. Before you decide to go and spend a whole lot of money studying, find out what your passion is or what direction you want to go to, your community within the social work aspect of things, within the um, consultation of social psychologists. And
okay.
this is how I'm going to introduce it. Um, on a level where they can understand exactly what counseling is about. And once they finished all the modules, they can then say, um, okay, I'd like to go down that avenue, you
Uh,
know.
okay, I understand fully. What kind of topics do you really cover and what skills will the learners learn?
Okay. So I think first and foremost, it's an introductory level into counseling. So in other words, it's basic counseling. The first part of it is module one will cover the ethics as a counselor, the models and ethics as a counselor. It will also encompass the different types of um, uh, uh, problems we have in society and what we can develop within that society as a counselor. We then will go on to the other various modules where you will learn what things like common things like um, bullying is concerned, which is such a big problem for us on the at schools. So you would then be able to basically go into a school and maybe launch an anti-bullying campaign, but done in the correct manner and within the lawful aspects of it as well. Um, then we'll have stuff like rape, domestic violence, sexual abuse. Um, we will touch on incest because it's become a lot more popular as well. So all of this will come up, although there's a lot more other things. One of the most important would be self-mutilation, depression, and suicide. We will focus a lot on the children um, and the and what interpersonal relationships are about if you are born in a society where your immediate social surroundings is
Mm.
with gangsterism or drugs, where it should have been a foundation of nurturing from mom and dad. So that is shifted. So I want to be able to teach them the shift and the mindset and how it needs to shift again. The learning and unlearning, the processing,
Uh,
the legal
yes.
aspects. So, yeah,
S- so that's more on a psychological level you're talking about here. Who are these models for? Are there any requirements for people who want to sign up, or is it open to everybody in the community? Is there a standard? Uh, uh, must you have a matric certificate to do this?
no. So what I say, first of all, Jenny, if you have a passion for your community or you are driven by the aspects that challenges that they face in the community, this is what's open to you. You don't need a specific certificate. Um, there are psychological aspects to it. I will familiarize them with things like depression and the loose term depression that people use. We will bounce off that board as well. But before we go into the social psychological aspects of it, we will only mostly deal um, with the basics. You don't need to have a matric, you don't need to have a university level. You come, I want the person to come as themselves because a lot of what they're going to be learning is what they're going to have to personally develop um,
The
as
passion,
a human being. Yes,
the
you know,
passion.
yes, yes. So there will be a fee involved, but it is the running costs, like getting their files, their paperwork, when they need to do case studies. And of course, I have an assistant which she would need to be covered. So the idea that I have is if you would like to be a part of it, maybe go into your community and find a somebody that will sponsor you if you cannot sponsor yourself. at least if you don't have employment, and find yourself a sponsor, and hopefully that sponsor will see you through the course. It's not accredited as it's an introductory into um, counseling, uh, but we will issue you with a certificate of um, completion.
Okay. Um, these new community-based counselors, what kind of challenges do you hope that they will be able to address?
So, I think one of our biggest challenges in Cape Town currently is our female and children domestic violence. Yes, it happens to men, but we have so much bigger, we have a so much bigger scale of um, domestic violence and sexual abuse. So I would like to target not just women. I want to target men and challenge them to come out and do this course because there are boys being raped. It's just still kept in the dark. It's still being swept under the mat. So I want to challenge men to also do this course. If they have a love for the community or they've even gone through rape or abuse, um, it's something for them to bounce off and teach others so that they don't become victims
Yes,
to the same thing.
I agree with you on that. There was no modules in the old times for the counselors. What do you think if there would have been modules in place? Do you think
Mm.
they would be able to cope better if there was modules in place for them?
I think that I don't think we should limit ourselves to modules, and we shouldn't set limits on skills, any form of skills. If there's skill to develop that's going to create a better community or a better family, or simply just a better human being, then we should have been empowered with that a long time ago. But Jenny, everything also, and I don't want to use this term, but a lot of it goes back to apartheid time as well, where our people weren't educated on the same levels. And empowerment was basically just a word that the more educated person knew and not
Right.
poverty level person. They didn't know what the term empowered meant. And so that has changed over the years. But what I still find happening is that the same things is happening. It's opened up a little bit more, but we are still utilizing what we did back then. Parents they still um, see their husbands sexually abusing their daughters and they hide it away. You know, these different cultures that still put a stamp onto sexuality preference, things like that. And
Yes.
that that's what I want to lift. That's what I really want to live through with these
Okay.
modules.
It's how we can teach people to overcome that fear of therapy.
Yes, yes.
What's your long-term vision for this program? Where do you see
That
yourself in 5 years' time with this program?
Jenny, I have a belief and a motto. It's called each one teach one. It's basic statistics. Every one person knows 10 immediate people.
Yes.
And I've told myself, I've limited myself to my first class being 12 people. So if they carry out what they have learned, that means that I've touched 120 people.
I agree with you on that.
Because, yes, you know, and statistics do not lie, stats doesn't lie. Um, but they have to be teachable. That's all they need to be.
Touching one person in the community and to save and to change one person's mindset can have a big impact on the community out there. Do you agree on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
People have a fear of therapy. How can we teach people that therapy is a very good thing? It heals the mind, the
So,
body, and the soul.
yes. So remember that um, many of our people don't have medical aid. And again, it goes back to being educated. They're not educated enough with regards to mindfulness, breathing techniques, and those type of things. And it also goes back to reflection. Um, Reflection and critical thinking is an extremely powerful tool,
Yes, it
but
is.
many people hasn't been taught how to use that tool, you
Okay.
know? So,
Why is it so important that counselors trained within the community rather than relying on professionals from outside?
well, there is professionals that does counseling, and that's why I was saying earlier about them joining the health board. There is quite a bit of organizations that offer professional counseling and so on. I think just the only problem with many of the clients is the fact that um, they need the counseling, but they are unemployed. They're unemployed or they're living in poverty, and so they don't reach out necessarily. You know, they stay in a victim mentality. And so, yes, there are many professional counselors or consultants, but I think with regards to my personal focus, I'm focused more on even bridging the gap between the community based counselors and professional counselors.
Thank you. What happens after someone completes the training? What support system are in place for them as they begin to practice as counselors?
Okay, so by the time they are done doing the modules, they then would have an idea of what avenue they want to go in. So, if, for example, they want to go into social work, we will assist them in finding the correct foundation for them, whether it's university or community based teaching or development. We will try and assist as best as we can. Other than that, they can go to the local SAPs and look at becoming a trauma counselor. They can also go to different organizations, you know, like your RATCAN, and it obviously depends on what their forte is. You know,
Okay.
if they take a deep interest in one specific type of case file,
How can people get involved or find out more about the training?
they can contact me or they can write me an email, which I will let you have. They can get in touch personally with me. I don't have a problem with that. I am only taking uh, 12 people to start off with because my classroom is limited, which I'd like to keep because they'll be doing um, quite active work as well and role playing. Yeah, so to start off, it will be 12 only, but they can enroll and get all the information. And obviously, they would need to find time to find them a sponsor and so on.
Don't you think if we had such modules in place in the past, then there would have been much more women involved being a counselor?
Yes,
Thank you.
definitely. Definitely, because we would be so much more empowered. And I say we because I also come from a community. It doesn't only and it mustn't only apply to one woman, whether you are a victim, a survivor, or a warrior, you are still part of a community. And so we use the term we because we becomes me and me becomes empowered and educated, you know. So definitely, I think if there was more empowerment 20 or 30 years ago, I think we would have, yeah, women would have
Empowered
been
more women.
absolutely, absolutely.
Is there anything else you like to share with our listeners today about the importance of mental health and community support?
Yes, all, I always say to people, don't give up. You know, sometimes you can't fall lower than the ground because many people refer to it as falling or broken. You can't fall lower than that. Thereafter, you have to rise, you know. And this is why I'm such a great fan of Maya Angelou's poetry. There's a poem, Rise, Till I Rise. And I think everybody should put on that warrior clothes and arise because through empowerment and education, you have the power. It's just that you've been so closed off to that you haven't seen that part of yourself. And Jenny, women are so strong. We are
Yes,
so powerful, but we don't know. Most times we don't know that we have that power. So
so
we
true.
as women, yeah, we must dig deep inside of ourselves. If you could be with a man that sexually abused you for 20 years, oh my gosh, you're so powerful. You got through 20 years of hell, you know. So that is my message to people. Just upskill yourself regularly. I do it every year, you know. Um, there's time to shine. There's always the time to shine.
Thank you for joining me on the Just Jenny show. Can you give our listeners out there your details where they can contact you? And may your journey go from strength to strength.
Thank
And
you.
we believe as women today that we can empower a nation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my telephone number is 064 691 6515. My email address is anchor,
Okay.
ANCHORSA dot org at gmail.com.
Thank you so much for allowing us in your space. Goodbye to you, listeners.
Goodbye,
Every
Jenny.
goodbye, Nadia. Listeners, you can tune in to www.inspireradio.co.za. WhatsApp 068 102 4094. Facebook Inspire Altis Radio. TikTok as well and YouTube. Thank you so much. It was a great pleasure.